Provided that they don't think that you are unattractive, 90% of women will want you if you can give off this vibe. "90% of women will want you if you can give off this vibe." Well, what vibe is that? Well, let's do a little test here. Let's see how good you guys are that are watching with women, with your understanding of women and with your knowledge of the sexual marketplace. So I'm going to give you 4 items here, and you tell me or think to yourself, which one do you think is going to increase their probability of finding you attractive? All right, the most, we'll say. So thing number 1 is a seductive glance. Thing number 2 is flexing or having exposed arms. Thing number 3 is showing or demonstrating interest in her. And thing number 4 is being taken or giving off the vibe of being in a relationship. So out of those 4 things, which one do you think is the most effective at increasing your level of attractiveness? Now, if you guess number 4, being taken or in a relationship, then you might have been paying attention to quite a bit of what's going on around here. If you didn't get that right, that's okay. You're about to learn something. So even more than demonstrating interest or seductive glance, I mean, again, this is assuming she doesn't find you unattractive, right? So, the rule, be attractive, don't be unattractive. But if she doesn't find you unattractive, the greatest way of increasing the probability of her wanting you is giving off the vibe that you're actually taken. It kind of makes sense, though, when we understand women, right? If you have an abundance mindset and other women want you, that makes you more attractive. A lot of you guys have experienced this, guys especially who are not really that savvy yet in the dating market. You're with a chick or you're seeing a girl, and all of a sudden other girls are interested in you. But when you're single or you have a dry spell, all of a sudden you can't generate interest, it seems like, to save your life. A lot of you guys have experienced this, right? Yeah, that happens because women rely on social proof to determine a man's attractiveness. They want to believe that their own filters, or what they would determine or call womanly instinct, is accurate. But the reality is they doubt that instinct all the time. And they should, because that instinct is wrong all the time. All right. And so women are part of that vetting process. For them is looking to the sexual marketplace for a determination as to whether or not a guy is good genetic mating stock or attractive or a good match. And if other girls find you attractive, then they'll want to compete to beat out the other girls in order to have that man. You guys all experienced this in grade school, we'll say middle school, high school especially, right? That somewhat, unexplainable, for what seems like unexplainable reasons, a bunch of girls are always trying to bang a particular guy or two in high school. You got 1 or 2 guys that are just seem to be getting all the girls to want to bang them. A lot of that isn't because these guys are super alphas or these guys have this behavior. Although they may develop that behavior with an abundance of women, they may start to develop the behavior of having game and having alpha behavior and being genetically viable. But the reality is, a lot of that happened just because a couple girls decided to compete for that guy. And then that led to more girls competing for him, and that led to more girls competing for them. You can observe this all the time. Go to a bar, watch girls, and watch a girl and a guy approach a woman or a group of girls, and watch the women all compete for that guy's attention. Women want to know in the sexual marketplace on an instinctual level that they're above their girlfriends. And they compete for mates to demonstrate that, because if they're above their girlfriends, that puts them in a higher social status and a better puts them in a better circumstances for getting a man who is better genetic stock and can provide more resources. It puts them in a better circumstance of having higher status within the tribe. And of course, I'm talking instinctual drives now, right? Evolution. And so it's natural. Women want to compete with each other, and women want to compete for a guy that they see as higher value. And what determines that guy's value oftentimes is the perceptions of the other women. And so that makes sense. So if a guy is taken, that means that he's already been vetted by at least one woman. He is desirable to other women based on the fact that he's taken. Now, this isn't just my opinion or conjecture. Oklahoma State University did a study. They asked a number of girls. They showed a picture of an attractive man. 90% were interested in that man when they thought that he might be in a relationship. But then when it was, and this was an attractive guy, when it was revealed that the guy was single, that interest dropped to 59%. So the interest of 90% of women was generated because they thought not only was he attractive, but he was taken. So he had the social proof of being taken. All right. And so more so than your interest, because a lot of times you showing interest, although women say they like confidence and things like that, you can't listen to what they say. You got to look at what they do. And a lot of times when a guy shows interest, they think they're better than that guy and they reject him, right? Because he's showing interest to her. So when a guy demonstrates through his behavior that he's taken, that he's actually unavailable, that makes them want to compete for that guy more. When he's showing that he's, through his behavior and how he's acting, that he has women or has at least a woman, or he's got other women, she then thinks of him in a sexual context, because she's thinking about all these other women wanting and having him as a sexual partner, which puts her in a mental framework of wanting him and being curious about him as a sexual partner. When other girls want to bang that guy or are banging him, they wonder, well, what's that all about? What does he have sexually that's so interesting? I'm now curious. And as you guys know from previous videos, curiosity is a precursor to desire. So they become curious about that guy and they desire that guy and they think of him in a sexual context, even if it's just in the back of her unconscious mind. That's what she's thinking when she knows a guy is taken. She knows that some other woman has that guy's D on at least somewhat of a regular basis, right? And then she wonders what that's going to be like. So how does this apply to you? Well, if you can demonstrate, this really comes about, how this applies to you is really very simple. When you're out there in the world as a single guy and you're wanting to hook up with women and have women in your life, just don't be thirsty, right? Being that thirsty guy decreases the interest, because she assumes now that you don't have other options or that you're single. If you are out there and you can approach and have conversation and, make things happen with women, but without appearing thirsty or needy or like you're single and you're needing somebody to hook up with, that can actually be more attractive, right? Now, granted, like toxic, low-value women, even hot, low-value women, will hook up with the thirsty guy. I mean, women will hook up with anybody, right? But that doesn't mean that they'll find that guy the most attractive or that they'll find that guy as the prize, right? So if you want to increase the value of women in your life, not behaving in a thirsty manner and behaving with abundance, even if you're single, will increase that attractiveness dramatically. And so when you approach a woman, you're talking to a woman, you are putting her in a position of being vetted by you and pining for you. essentially chasing you versus the other way around, then she is going to see you as higher value, be more attracted to you. And then those number closes, those social media closes, whatever you're doing to close and get the initial contact is more likely to turn into a date and then a hookup later. All right. Because her investment and how she sees you is much higher. Her investment's higher. She sees you as higher value. So it's kind of an art and it's a talent to be able to present yourself in a manner that's attractive and to be able to approach women and engage with women, but not appear to be single and thirsty and needing somebody. If you appear to be taken, at the very least, women are dating you. That's going to work out in your favor. So when women in the initial meetup are asking about, well, are you seeing somebody? Or if that topic comes up, a lot of you guys fold in a weak way and say, want to tell her, well, I'm single, or I haven't been seeing anybody, or I'm not seeing anybody. That's actually a mistake if you're trying to make her attracted to you. A better answer would be to say, I'm not really single, but I'm definitely open. Now, I'm not suggesting that you're with somebody in a solid LTR relationship and that you're cheating. But what I'm suggesting is that you are dating women and you have options. So are you single? Well, I'm dating, but nothing too serious is probably a better answer if you're wanting to be attractive and increase that attractiveness by quite a few percentage points.